Who is CampTek Software? CampTek Software is continuing to lead the industry through our real-world examples and bots in action, which can be seen at campteksoftware.com. We have over 20 years experience in RPA development and support. Also, we are a full lifecycle RPA SaaS provider in that we can assist you anywhere in your journey, whether it be development or hosting from our operations center here in the United States. We also are a recognized automation and RPA thought leader. We are hyper-automation advocates in that we are experts in RPA as well as AI and ML. We are a UiPath partner, and we have been nominated as Innovator of the Year. More information on our company and our expertise is at campteksoftware.com.
Why digital assistants? They reduce navigational inefficiencies that are common in today's enterprise applications. Users are forced to enter data and click on controls that are wasteful and aren't pertinent to the activity they are trying to perform. They are also agile in design and development. This increases the time to production versus waiting for a full-blown app to be created. The first version of an assistant can solve one need and later be expanded upon, or additional assistance can be added to address a wider need. An example being the Physician Burnout initiative we're going to present today. They also utilize attended and unattended robots. Attended bots can be used to gather data needed for the unattended robot to finish the job. This is a more efficient way to handle this activity. Unattended use cases are also finite. We're seeing that there are only so many truly unattended use cases out there, and most often some human intervention is needed. Design in place apps are becoming more common in that they are adaptable to the user's needs and designed with trying to create the most efficient user experience. Based on their design for digital assistants, we feel that they are the most efficient way to move data through a digital environment.
As part of our Physician Burnout initiative, CampTek Software worked closely with physicians at Gastro Health to discover and analyze present-day clinical workflows. Through this discovery, we were able to find a cumbersome process of producing pathology letter creation that was glaringly inefficient use of their time on a daily basis. Using UiPath and the Forms application, CampTek automated the entire process to the doctor's amazement and delight, and in the end, achieving a huge reduction in navigational compression on the doctor's daily strain. To further illustrate this successful automation, this chart shows the original number of clicks required to perform this task and the results post-automation. You can see the process went from roughly 50 clicks down to 5.
Here are some of the savings we're expecting to see with this particular app. If you look at one doctor, the average salary for a doctor is about $300,000. The approximate number of pathology letters generated per day per physician is about 8 to 10. Time spending generating one pathology letter is about 4 or 5 minutes. The minutes spent per day is around 45 minutes. And we're estimating the average amount of savings this app will create for this particular group is a little over $15,000. If you look a little farther with the current day situation, where there's about 194 doctors participating, the average salary once again is 300,000. Approximate number is 8 to 10. Number of letters generated each day. Time spent about 4 to 5 minutes. Hours spent generating pathology letters per physician is about 108 hours, and the overall savings and time savings as well as money is a little over $3 million. So as you can see, this type of use case can really start to add up. If you look into 2021, where this group is expected to add close to 80 more physicians, apply those numbers once again, and you're looking at the hours spent close to 29,000 hours. In addition, your savings can be expected to be over $4.2 million. So here's a graph of year projected. So up to this point, projected totals, if this were implemented for the entire year, would be close to $1.4 million. Projected money to be saved in 2021, $2 million. Originally, it was a 5-minute process. CampTek Software has implemented a less than 1-minute solution. This represents a 47% cost reduction for gastro health. The next digital assistant we'd like to talk about is an assistant we created using UiPath apps for an existing customer that has a large amount of business exceptions. This is the customer that has 50 plus US hospitals and currently has a unattended payer verification bot that processes over 670 patients per day. There are approximately 4 different payers that this will process for: Aetna, Blue Cross, Humana, United Healthcare, to name a few. At this time, there's close to 20 plus business rules exceptions that cannot be processed by the bot and require human intervention. Now we get to look at some of the transactions you can see with the orchestrator for this particular robot. If you notice, there's a blue line, a green line, red line, and an orange line. The blue line is the totals. The green line are the successful transactions. The red line indicates application exceptions. And then if you look on the bottom there, there's an orange line indicating the business exceptions. The business exceptions for this particular robot have been challenging in that there's not an ability for the robot to make the decisions sometimes it encounters when it's trying to do its job. So those could be things like adding additional information to the claims, picking a different insurance, understanding some of the codes that are needed, which require a human. So what we have done and what we want to do is we've created a app that can actually handle this. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about the business exceptions that we talked about in the previous slide. We believe that while unattended automation is certainly the most common way applications are automated, we believe that the future of automation is a blend of both the unattended robots as well as an attended robot. And those can be things like digital assistants or human-in-the-loop type scenarios, which is one that I believe solves the business exception issue with this particular robot. So we partnered with UiPath to create a UiPath app, which is now in general release, wide release, to create an app that would help with this particular scenario where the robot runs every day, and there's, somewhere between, I don't know, anywhere from 20 to 40 different business exceptions that can be generated, depending on the caseload. So what we did was we created an app using the existing Action Center capability that comes with the attended robots within the UiPath Enterprise platform, which is the left side of the screen, which indicates all the exceptions that are bubbled up from the robot as it runs. So imagine for a moment that this robot's running all day. There's applications exceptions and there's business exceptions. The ones we're focusing on here are the business exceptions. So those could be things like missing a counter number, or something's coded incorrectly, or the robot couldn't check the payer status because of a host of different methods and needs and properties and things of that nature. So essentially what happens with this particular app is the user will select the different business exceptions on the left in the Action Center, and a screen on the right, which is the one we're showing here. In this case, the encounter number is missing, which is needed to process the transaction. So on the right-hand side, you'll see a screenshot of the application itself, which clearly shows what the encounter number is. And on the left side, the human or whoever is acting on this fills in the correct encounter number right here, hits submit, and once this entry is submitted, it's submitted to a UiPath queue, and the unattended robot that, similar to the one that did the main job, comes along and goes back into Cerner and corrects the entry, so the transaction can be completed. As we commonly say, the primary purpose of automation is to create efficiencies. Are there any questions from the audience? We'd love to hear from you.